Welcome back, everybody, to a new part of the series where we're going to talk about the psychology of prophylaxis. Artur, what do you mean by that?
Well, we already actually saw that it is difficult to play against prophylactic player. It is maybe important for a chess player to try to impose his own will. And if you cannot bring your plans on the board, if you prevent it from playing the moves what you would love to do, you have always to change the program, and it is difficult, it is depressing, and then it is possible that mistakes would occur. And the next game would illustrate this point.
All right, let's look at it. So the point, just so I get it, is if you stop your opponent once or twice from implementing his plan, then he might get frustrated, and then it's much more likely to do something wrong.
Very often it ends up by making some mistake. He ends up by making some mistakes. I remember perfectly my feelings about it when I played against Karpov, and I also committed very often some mistakes after a couple of prophylactic moves.
So this is a game of yours. You're white against John van der Wiel.
I played white in the Chess Olympiad in Lucerne. It was my first Olympiad. And yeah, we started c4.
Let's go.
Let's go. Started c4, knight f6, knight c3, e6. And I played the system which called system of McKenna's and Floor.
e4.
e4, yeah.
Even nowadays, a very unpleasant system and tricky move order against Nimzo Indian players.
Yes. Black has a choice between c5 and d5. In this game, my opponent plays d5, e5. And now he chooses the rare move. He plays knight e4. The standard move is d4.
This is the main line. Yes, still very topical, I remember.
Yes. Many ideas here. Knight e4 is also a very interesting move, because if white takes and plays queen g4, then black is going to sacrifice the pawn for the reason that he cannot defend it, actually. Because queen d4, knight f3, so black is going to sacrifice the pawn. I don't remember exactly.
Something
either.
Like knight c6.
Knight c6, or even c5, and then to play knight c6 could make sense. I don't know what was the plan of my opponent. But advantage to play with white pieces, you can choose the direction of the game, and I chose here more careful development.
You didn't want to see his home preparation,
just to avoid some unexpected lines and to play solid chess.
Knight c6 was played.
Bishop e2, I have to be careful not to play d4 maybe too early, and not to let my opponent to pin the knight with bishop b4. So bishop e2, bishop e7. At least I didn't want to enter these lines. Short castle. There was some example that white played queen c2 and black answered knight g5. But that was about what I knew of theory. So short castle is a solid continuation. Black also makes short castle, and they play d4.
Looks, without judging already, that the opening has gone well for you. Yes? Knight on c6 now looks a little silly.
Yes, a little bit strange, because blocks his own pawn c5, and black would need it to attack the center. b6. I was also pretty much happy with the development. Now white played bishop e3, maybe already prepares the move like rook c1. And after this, if black takes on c3, white can take with rook. So that was the reason for black to change now, to take on c6. And now black took on c4. Later I saw the recommendation of Grandmaster Bagirov here, bishop a6, which indeed makes sense to try to exchange some pieces. So instead, d takes c4 was played, bishop takes c4, knight a5, bishop d3.
So he's switching to some sort of Grunfeld type of plan, even though in Grunfeld you have the bishop here, but to give up the center and then to attack it, yeah?
Yes, actually I like this type of game. It looks like a very classical position for me with a strong center, and I felt myself good.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yes, and actually the next move is a kind of standard operation. I didn't invent it myself. I just used my knowledge. So I played knight d2. It's not only improves the position of the knight. Knight is going maybe to a4, to better, more active position. But the second part is probably even more important. White opens the way for the queen to the king side. And also looking at white's bishops, d3 and e3, they are already watching the king side very closely. So it would be nice to have queen to lead the attack on the black king.
And that's what happened, yes? c5, queen
That's
g4.
what happened. Already there is a threat, bishop h6. And so black has to react. Black played g6 here.
Small weakening, but at the same time blocking this bishop.
Exactly. So now my white squared bishop is not that effective, but the other bishop is good. So that's what sometimes happens with the bishops. White played knight e4, and black took on d4, and played knight c6. And here came maybe first critical moment for me. Before I played rather quickly, and now I have to think, because black actually created also some concrete threats.
Okay, so knight takes d4 is not a threat yet, because it takes followed by knight f6 check, and you win the queen. Too many arrows, but you get the idea. But knight takes e5 is a threat, yeah?
Knight takes e5 is a concrete threat. The logical defense against knight takes e5 would be the move rook d1.
But which one?
But which one? The question, which one rook should go to d1? To answer this question, we should go maybe deeper into the position and to see maybe some other black's ideas. Yeah.
Another idea could be to jump around with the knight to bother this bishop and maybe put the knight here as well, no?
Yes, to activate the knight and to use the square d5 either for knight or maybe for some other pieces. Yes, that is a second idea.
Okay, so my first instinct would be to play rook a d1, hoping I could use this rook here, and after knight b4
to retreat
and not have my bishop locked in.
I was not totally happy by retreating the bishop on b1, because black could play, let's say, rook c8 and have still some ideas like knight c2 and something like this, or the other alternatively he can take on e4, let's say bishop takes e4, knight d5, and knight c3 is coming to question. So black can get some counterplay in these lines. Thinking about this position, I spotted another interesting possibility. Let's put rook a to d1, knight b4, and here I could play intermediate move bishop h6. If idea, if rook e8, then bishop b5.
And if, whatever, bishop c6, knight c6, at least no piece gets here, yeah?
Yeah, it is already, at least knight is not coming to d5, and this exchange I was not worried about it. But on the way, I saw that here, if black takes on d3 immediately, let's say bishop takes f8, queen takes f8, and rook takes d3, he is able to win exchange back by playing bishop a6 and probably equalizing or being close to equalizing. Seeing this line, we can realize that white would be much better advised if his rook would be still on a1, if he would put another rook on d1. So that how I came to my first prophylactic solution, rook f to d1. Black played knight b4, bishop h6. So here I was happy to see these moves on the board.
Now you can't take because you just lose an exchange.
Yes, in this line we see the big difference. We can maybe put it on just to see everything on the board. Here black can hardly get real compensation for exchange.
So he had to play rook e8, I guess.
Yeah? Yes, he had to play rook e8, and then I have my idea with bishop b5.
Hitting the rook, so you gotta go bishop c6.
And white exchange on c6.
Takes, knight takes.
So I'm sure that black already was not very happy with this development, but still the game is far from over. Of course, we make a couple of good moves, useful moves, rook d1, bishop h6, but still black has some defensive resources. So it was a good moment to consider black's ideas again.
In general, the exchange of these light-squared bishops, you don't mind, yeah? Because on paper, this is our good bishop, but it wasn't doing so much.
But it was not doing anything at all, yeah, on d3, so it was only staying on the way, so I'm not against. I prefer my pieces. I like my knight on e4, I like my bishop on h6, but bishop d3 was without much job in the position. So it is okay, but now maybe black still wants to come back to b4, and if he would manage to put the knight on d5, the game would be still could be still very tough. Yeah, so it is covering also f6 square, knight is fantastic defensive piece. So I started to think what to do about black's move knight b4.
Next exercise for you guys, how do you stop it? And the caveman approach a3 is probably not the answer.
It's not the answer, although it's not a bad move. It shows that we are hitting the central idea of the position, of preventing knight of d5. So a3 is actually quite a playable move, and it's a good one. But over the board, I was more fascinated by move rook a b1.
And
it looks so nice. I put the rook on d1, and it's so nice to put another one on b1 and to claim that everything was planned in advance. Yeah? And the point is here a little bit tactic. If black is going knight b4 here, then we can take...
Checkmate.
Checkmate is coming, yes, check. And after queen h4, black is hopeless. Yeah, bishop f8, any bishop move could pose the problem.
So in a way, this rook b1 versus a3 is a bit what you talked about, the difference between defense. a3 is defense against knight b4.
Could be interpreted this way. But also I like rook b1 because I have an idea in some moment to put the rook on b3 and to bring the rook to attack. Yeah. So that was more clear for me, more clear move for me. Black reacted very badly, actually. So in this moment, he probably lost the game.
So that brings us to the psychology of prophylaxis you talked about. If you keep stopping his ideas, then he might
miss something, he might collapse. Actually, he played a rather poor move, queen d5.
Okay.
It looked okay, but only before we see the white's move. After white played queen f4, it turned out that the threat is knight f6, and the threat is so strong that the best move is what he played was queen d5 to d8. Losing two tempes are not a good idea.
Too much.
And it's too much, definitely. It's too much also in this position, and white, of course, now just played rook b3, bringing the rook to f3, and we are basically winning. Here some funny development happened. Black played rook c8. I already could win an exchange by playing rook f3.
How does he defend? Rook f8 is forced, yeah?
And giving up exchange. Yeah. So winning a lot of material. But I thought I have even better move here. I don't need this exchange. I can attack. I want to finish the game in the style. It doesn't matter that it is a team competition. Who cares? I want to play a nice game, so I played h4.
So you don't believe in the old wisdom, if you can take a rook or checkmate, always take the rook, because it might not be checkmate.
Yes, okay, but fortunately or unfortunately, I came to my senses after my opponent played rook c7. I told to myself, come on, this is a team competition, what are you doing? You can win exchange, and why are you playing more complicated way? So here I spoiled my masterpiece by playing a banal move rook f3. Which was, of course, a good move and wins the game. But later I showed this position to Mikhail Tal, who was also a reserve player as well as me. He played on the fifth board, I played on the sixth board. So we were a reserve player, but we were playing a lot in this Olympiad. And it took Tal just a few seconds to demonstrate the combination. The pity for me was that I saw the motive, but I saw the motive before I played h4, and it was not working in this moment. After h4 and rook c7, I simply forgot to prove it more carefully, and so I missed my chance to finish this nice game in a style and to make some nice game from it. Unfortunately, as I said, I played here rook f3.
I know the solution, so I'm not going to pretend I found it, but maybe it's a good exercise for you guys out there. It's not really prophylactics, this is checkmating, which is important.
Just think how Tal would play in this position. It's actually very helpful. It helped me to win German championship once. Yes, I was looking and I played a tough game against Thomas Luther. I was looking in the position, and then I thought, why are you looking? Why are you thinking? Misha would sacrifice here the piece without thinking, and I sacrificed the piece and won the game.
I don't like to recall that, because I think I came second in that championship and I needed you to draw last round, but you won and I wasn't happy. But
no, but that was not a game in the last round. Yes, in the last round.
No, I remember.
It was a little bit early.
I was already watching you.
Yes. But
anyway.
it is really helpful. It's actually a method. So you can try to use the method if you have a technical position. Think about how Karpov would play in this position. If you have attacking position, think about how Tal would attack, and maybe you are on a good way.
So the solution is d5. E takes d, rook takes d5.
And the main line is queen takes d5, and white still close to be checkmating. We can see that without pawn on h4, there is always the weakness on the first rank, but here everything is different. And if now queen takes e5, only way to protect, then beautiful move, rook e3. I was really shocked with the speed. Tal was like breathing. This combination came so easily for him. It's very nice. Very nice, very beautiful finish of the game. And unfortunately, I chose the less aesthetic way. I played rook f3.
You won anyway. Bishop h4 doesn't work because
doesn't
of g3.
Work because of g3. Yes. And then pawn f7 is hangs. Also could be some other refutation of bishop h4, as a matter of fact. So he was forced to give up exchange. So my teammates stopped to worry about my game, because exchange is exchange, and exchange in combination with a better position makes it rather easy. d5 is a nice move.
So again, you don't want the knight showing up here?
No. And this is a good opportunity to improve the structure a little bit with a tempo, actually. And now black could play knight d8 and put in a little bit more tougher resistance, but okay, it would be lost anyway. Knight b4 was a move, and
I have a slightly off-topic question. Often in these positions people say the rest is a matter of technique. What does that really mean? When you have a winning position and you know the rest is a matter of technique, what's the technique to convert it? Is there such a thing?
For me, it is actually the signal to be even more concentrated. I think the mistake what many players are doing, that they are relaxed in such a situation. That's only what can go wrong. If you start to be relaxed, if you don't keep the same level of concentration at least, then it is you can get a problem. If you still keep doing the same good job you were doing before, that's enough. That's enough to win the game, basically. Keep concentrated and think about before opponent resigned, there is still fight. Yeah, that's the main thing.
I agree. I came to the same conclusion because for many years I thought I just don't have this magic technique people are thinking about here when the rest is a matter of technique, but it doesn't exist. It's just to keep playing good moves even though you know you're winning them. Yeah?
It exists, but 50% of technique is the right attitude. 50% is just psychologically to to be concentrated, and we will be talking about prophylactic thinking and technique. There is a good way also to use prophylactic thinking in some technical situation, but the main thing is to keep your concentration, and before opponent resigned, there is still a fight.
So he resigned quickly, though.
He would be crushed rather quickly because the position is very bad. There is a threat e5, e6, for example, and there are threats knight,
on the waist,
knight f6. Everything is handing, but it's actually, if I still you keep playing good moves, the game would be over rather quickly. Rook c6 was played, and now I think I found a good way. Knight d6 hits b4, hits f7 at the same time. Opponent took on a2, queen a4, and now that's what happens. If you keep concentrated, if you make a couple of good moves, opponent probably would resign. But if you start be shaky, if you make maybe one or two unconcentrated moves, you also animate the opponent to put tougher resistance and to look for the chances. Here the game basically was over. If knight c3, maybe queen c6 and knight d1, pawn on f7 is handing, and white wins the game easily. So with different options. Yes. So
another nice game.
Nice game. I think I won it because of these two prophylactic moves, rook fd1 and rook ab1, which cemented my advantage and provoked maybe my opponent, and he made a mistake which made it much easier for me. He played queen d5. But as I mentioned, it is very usual picture that after several prophylactic moves, the opponent doesn't feel so good, and very often mistakes are coming.
Thanks a lot, and we'll be back in the next video with more examples on how prophylactics can do psychological damage and provoke mistakes. Thank you for watching. See you soon.